Ravens live.
Welcome, and here's the franchise guru. We are here, season 10. I think we in. Might even be 11. All I know is 2032 in the game, and we just came out 2033 actually. We just came out of the 2032 draft. We got a lot to talk about. It was the second Legends class reset year where we lost a lot of players that were great players for the league, man. A lot of guys that are going to be sitting in free agency, no more wanted for their team. Father Time has taken them out and move on. First of all, we're going to congratulate our Super Bowl champion for the first time ever in my league, Coach Corey. We call him Coach Corey. Coach Carter. I'm sorry, Coach Corey. Coach Carter. Coach Corey. Coach Carter has won the Super Bowl, 2031 Super Bowl. Um, Big time game too. It was a really, really good game. Last minute drive, went down and won the game on a touchdown pass in the corner of the right end zone for the game winner. And a big time game against the Houston Oilers. Now the Chicago Bears are now the Thunders from Tokyo, and they are the team that won the Super Bowl with Justin Fields going out on top, man. So it's gonna be a lot of retooling going on with a lot of teams right now, getting younger as the 30-year-old cap is starting to hurt guys with guys that they've been playing with for the season, for the entire disc. We're starting to turn over rosters now, and we are in our second Legends class. This draft set it up to be a really good draft. We had a lot of teams looking for a lot of things, right? From the top 10 picks in the draft to the number one pick in the draft. Our Houston Texans and their new coach, Coach Harrell, welcome back to the league, had the number one pick in the draft, and they lost C.J. Stroud to age, so they had to go quarterback, and they definitely did that. We'll talk about that as well. But let's talk about what ended the season last year as we got guys coming on in to watch what we got going on today. All right, so our last season was a really good season, man. Really good season. Again, shout out to our Super Bowl champion. We have another NFC championship, won by the old Chicago Bears, new Thunderbirds. What up, Doe? What up with you? I was hitting you to see if you wanted to play in college football, in our college football league when they come out. All right, so to recap last season, man, we had two new teams enter the playoffs for the first time in the disc. We had the San Diego Chargers, the Coach Bo, make it to the playoffs in the AFC side, and Los, my boy Los, took the Carolina Panthers, who are now the Huskies. Took them. DM me from one group me so I can get you in the chat. Took his team to the playoffs for the first time on their last season as Carolina Panthers. So we had two new guys into the playoffs for the first time in their careers in our league. I'm assuming the first time. I think Bo might have made it before. Los might have made it before. But congratulations to both those guys, man, because they worked their ass off to get to where they got to. So we appreciate the effort and the work from those guys. It was a vigorous season, man, with up and downs all year long, man. We had some really good things happen, some really good non-things happen. We had some really good competitive things that went down, and we had some non-things that went down. This league lost some very special players, right? We got to give a shout-out to Justin Fields for going out on top, right? He's one of those guys get to walk out like a Jerome Bettis. Some of these guys that walk out winning the Super Bowl when they walk out the league. Now, Justin Fields never mentioned that he was retiring at all, but it was his last hurrah with the Thunderbirds, and he understood that. He knew that was coming, and he went out with a bang, man. We also got Hall of Famers, right? Like, Justin Fields will be exactly that. We talk about the Seattle Seahawks, the 5-time Super Bowl champion winners. They lost 3 big-time offensive weapons. That man there,
rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on
right away that shit out. Man, the triangle offense that they designed, that's heavily, not heavily, let's call it,
terrible, but I'm honored.
let's call it one of the most explosive offenses, hard to stop offenses in our league. In the triangle offense, it was manned by the 3 triplets, you would call them, right? Jackson Smith-Njigba, Trevor Lawrence, and Kenneth Walker III. Having those 3 weapons in that system was very, 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 very healthy for them over the course of the disc, right? They dominated in that system together. And those guys got their walking papers at the end of the draft a couple of nights ago. So we got some things changing. Guys started moving around trying to figure out the quarterback position, especially the guys that had got veterans in place that was manning their teams for years. They are all going. So it was an interest in the draft to figure out what quarterbacks will go, how they will go, where they will go. at the same time, we had teams that had to rebuild some things, and teams that had some things in place where we shall see some things this year, right? Like we should see some up and downs, and some guys will go through growing pains, some guys won't. We shall see though, but it should be a nice little turnover to take us into 2032. I call it the year 32. We take us into that and see what's going on, man. I thought the draft was really good. You saw guys taking needs. You saw guys taking luxury picks. You saw all types of things in the draft. But what we saw was a healthy draft. Majority of the players in the league drafted. So that's always a good thing to be 10 seasons in and everybody still actively attacking the off season and drafting. So as we go through teams and look at what went on and all that, we first got to talk about what went in the top 10. All right, so at number 10, it wasn't really no movement. Like any trades that happened before we got to the off season.
Cards.
There wasn't that many trades that were made during the off season, like the day of the draft. Like none of that went down. So any trades that were made because
Tens.
they happened before we got into the off season. As we look at the top 10 picks, we're gonna start at number 10. The Cincinnati Bengals had the number 10 pick. Coach Snake sat at number 10, and we already know, being in the top 10, you're gonna get something, right? We know what the draft looked like. Sitting in the top 10 or at the back of the draft, they're dogs, and there's always gonna be guys that go way too early, guys that fall. Guys that fall that should have went way too early are going to fall to the back of the draft, and usually a good coach sitting at the back of the draft are going to be the guys that will definitely benefit from that, right? But at number 10, when you go looking at what we got going on right now, at number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals is on the clock, and we're going to go from 10 to 1, and we'll talk about what they drafted at number 10. So what I'm going to do is I'll go through each team that had the top 10, and then I'm going to go right back to the teams and just talk about some teams, in alphabetical order. We're going to go through the league talking about the teams that, what they did and what their rookie class looked like. All right, so let's take a look at the Bengals, and we know their first pick at 10, penalty of 13.4 million. Pick 10 overall, they brought back Derwin James. All right, so if you look at our league, and a lot of you guys are like, Derwin James, yeah, we in the Legends draft, right? And what happens is that we are 10 seasons in. So guys like Derwin James, a lot of guys already got left the league and all that, and we'll be bringing them back in, new versions of them this year. So you're bringing in 6'3", 215 out of Florida State, and we're bringing in the old Florida State Derwin James, and he got a reset, get to start over and see what his course this time would be around. And the Bengals picking him at 10. The question I would ask myself at 10, are you picking luxury, the best available, or a need, right? So when you talk about the Bengals picking Derwin James at 10, you first must look at what they have in their secondary already. So we'll start at the safety room. They picked up Tyrann Matthews last year in the Legends draft, our first Legends draft. They have a 27-year-old and Brenton Kidd and his twin brothers on the same football team at D tackle. So they got guys that can play in the box, and they got a good free safety there. You go look at the strong safety room. They Taylor Mays Jr. has been on this team for 7 years right now. He's 28 years old. So it was room for them to go ahead and go, move up. But they also drafted Leroy Butler in last year's Legend draft. So in my opinion, you go get yourself a sub linebacker, a guy that can play in the box, that guy that can play strong safety back deep. He can also play as sub linebacker for you. And that's a good situation, right? That's a good situation to have. So in my opinion, I think, in my opinion, oh my God, let me do some math real fast. Look at that. All right. All right. I like the pick, right? This is not a reach. This is actually a need pick because if you know the makeup of our league, we are dropping older guys, right? When they hit 30, they're out of here. They're going back down to normal no matter what position going forward, right? So Teller Mays Jr. at 28 years old, he gives you a sub linebacker, a safety that can play. Just know when I say in the box, we're talking about anything that's 6'2", 215 pounds or bigger, right? I mean 6'1", 215 or bigger. They can play sub linebacker. So when I look at some of these safeties, especially how the game is played, guys want to better pick guys in the box as well to play safety and or sub linebacker. So when you look at Teller Mays and they bring in Derwin James, they also have Leroy Butler. So they are very, very good at the strong safety position right now, right? And the reason why I say this is not a reach pick, this could be a need pick, is because some guys might not value Teller anymore because he's 28. At the end of this year, he's 29. You got 2 seasons with him at the most, right? So most likely he'll be trying to move on from him or bring in the guy to replace him. So in my opinion, you ask yourself, you're looking at the same situation, but Derwin James is a bigger name than a Teller Mays Jr., right? You had years to work on Teller Mays, and Derwin already overall better than him right now. So at 28 years old, you got a guy on his way out the door, and you bring in his replacement right away. So you're looking at two sludge hammers at the strong safety position, with Derwin
Bengals
being more of
gonna
an
play
athlete.
4 games and
So
won't be seen until draft. Yo, and do Titans and Desperados have time to play our game?
yeah, I'm not advancing. I'm not advancing yet. We'll be advancing today and early. It won't be waiting until 9. You ain't don't schedule a game past 5 o'clock. So yes, because I didn't play my game. I broke night doing all this draft shit and fixing shit, and I slept a lot yesterday. So we're good. Y'all guys can play y'all games. I haven't even played mine yet. All right, so Derwin James, in my opinion, I like the pick. Right, I'm not mad at it. I don't think it's a reach. I don't think it's a luxury pick. I don't think it's a need. I think it's a need because you're looking at Tyrann Matthews, who can play
Okay, Titans, loading up.
corner or safety for this team. Right, you got a guy that can play. That's a tweener.
He ain't
Right, but
made
he is
much
five
since year
nine,
2.
190 pounds. So you're looking at a guy that, in my opinion, that he'll probably move around, right? Slot corner. He'll move around and do things with it. Then you relying on Brent Kidd. So you need those safeties right now. Now the question is, how do you get them all activated, right? Here's my question: who's actually going to be your starters, right? Is Darwin going to come in and start day one? I don't know if he played this game yet. We're going to find out if he played already or not. He's on the field already, and he was successful in the game. 8 total tackles and an INT in the game. So we got word right now that Derwin James is definitely starting, and it makes sense, right? You pick somebody in the top 10, they got to hit the field right away. Um, so I love the pick. I'm not mad at the pick. I think they got better. We'll talk about their team a little as far as their depth and what else they got a little later on as we go through the list. All right, now at number 9, the New England Patriots. We're sitting at number 9, and let's see who they picked at 9. All right. So cornerback Jason Sehorn, the ex-Giant, goes to the New England Patriots at number 9. Not mad at this pick at all. I do think it was a need for the New England Patriots since Gonzalez was dropped to a 30, down to 30 years old. You needed a corner to replace that ASAP, and they did exactly that. Now, what are they getting that corner? You're getting a very athletic, physical, big corner, right? A guy that is serviceable in man-to-man, right? But he's going to be really good when it comes down to playing zone defenses, which 90% of the league play. So even though he has a high +3 on a man, he's really a 93 overall zone guy, right? He's 94 on man. Okay, I'm in church. Come out here. All right. I'll text you when I'm leaving. So I'm not mad at Mark for this pick. I'm not mad at it at all. And then at the end of the day, if he's one of the guys that did miss the draft, but the computer picked his need for him, right? So you got a guy that's going to be a day one starter for you in a secondary that
I
really
would have
needs it.
loved
They
to
need
won
to
James
revamp their
man.
secondary. And at the end of the day, they're going to better do it with a Jason Horn. You like the size, 6'2", 215. He's going to be a physical corner.
You're the best.
That can cover a man or his own right now in his rookie season. So this is a hell of a pick. I'm not mad at this at all. Two teams back to back did get needs. All right, so at number 8, you had the Minnesota Vikings at number 8. And this was a team that was in desperate need, right? The reason why they was in desperate need because for about 3 straight seasons they had a user that wasn't really actively planned due to his truck driving job, so he wasn't really able to really manage and play with the football team. So they kind of fell behind the weights, right? This was a team that played really well in the NFC North, in the for the first 4 or 5 seasons, and then it was a drop off, right? And in that drop off, this team needed to come back in hard and make a big move right away. And I think they did a good job. Look, they drafted Jerry Rice last year at the wide receiver position. They have some receivers in the building right now, but this team just turned themselves into a basketball team. And to be honest with you, and this is no shade or shot at anybody with big receivers, but like the only other big receiver like this that was in the league is the Cincinnati Bengals, and we haven't really seen enough out of that receiver to see how effective that type of size at the receiver position and not tight end could really be. I'm looking forward to seeing what Hal Carmichael does this season, but you pick up Harold Carmichael at 6'8", 225 pounds, and you get him within the top 10. This was a player just because of pure size, speed, and who he is, was going to go in the top 10, right? Somebody in that top 10 would have got him. If he would have dropped, it would have been crazy. But you expected a player of that type of size and physique, you would think that he would go in the top 10, and he did. He went at 8. And the fact that he went at 8, that tells you the guys that were in front of him had their either mind made up on who they wanted because it's a Legends draft and they know names, or they had positions that they definitely needed over receiver and went and got the 6'8", 225-pound Harold Carmichael out of my area, right? He's from New Jersey, played for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that man couldn't work. And again, when I talk about the team, we'll get into it. But what makes it good, though, like just look what they're dealing with, right? They bring in Brandon Murray, the my player from the Las Vegas Raiders, now back to Oakland Raiders, right? They bring in a guy that can play running back or receiver for them at the receiver position. And at this moment, he's their second oldest receiver and the number 1 overall receiver in that room right now. But Jerry Rice, let's see what Jerry Rice did last year. He had a great rookie year, by the way. I think he had rookie of the year as well. Let's go see what his trophies look like. He made the Pro Bowl. All right, and he did. He was in the top. He definitely was in the top of the rookie argument, right? So Jerry Rice comes back with 13 touchdowns on the year last year. So you got your number 1 in a sense, right? You got a guy that should go to 81 catches for 1395, 13 touchdowns. That was solid. 17.2 yards a catch last year, almost 82 yards a game. So Jerry Rice is in the building. It's weird to see him in a Vikings uniform, but there he is, Jerry Rice chilling. And then again, you got your slot demon and Brandon Murray. You needed guys that could play on the outside. We all remember Ashley Lane being a guy that had that tight end frame that can play a little bit of both. So we'll see if they understand that they can tweener him and let him play tight end or some receiver. And then you got a rookie they brought in at 6'6", my player that they brought in at 6'6", 229 pounds. So you see what they wanted to do. They wanted to get big on the outside, right? So now you got a Jerry Rice that can play your 1, 2, or 3, and then you bring in Harold Carmichael. You know you want him on the outside, and then you also got Kendall Williams, the 6'6" freak, who's going to be in the same rookie class, right? As a my player, will be a guy that can play on the outside as well. So it looks like you got your square circle receivers are mountains, right? These guys are power forwards and some shooting, small forwards and shooting guards in some sense, right? And then Harold Carmichael at 6'8". So I'm gonna love to see what this team looks like going forward in the passing game with those trees at wide receiver, right? They got physical receivers in the building, and then they got the guy of the guys, and that's Mr. Jerry Rice himself out there doing what they do. You know, the top of the Mount Rushmore Hall of Famers, you already see what their awarenesses look like. They come out 90 awareness for sure. Um, so, look, some of you guys are going to get some of these rookies that come in. They'll be 95s and 99s out, but you should pay attention to their awareness. The playback, most of them going to be 75, except for the Mount Rushmore guys or guys that, you know, passed away or, you know, or my bias, guys I like might come out with 90 awareness. So you'll see that as we go through some of these players. But I like this pick right now, right? They got themselves a my player at the wide receiver position. They got their quarterback in play now. And now Jerry Rice got some weapons. And you saw what he did last year. What is he going to do when he got other guys around him where you can't feature him or just pay attention to him only, right? You don't have to worry about Carmichael and Williams as well. So I like to see what that's going to look like going forward. I like this pick. I'm not going to grade the pick. I'm going to grade the team on their rookie class when I get to it. But right now we like the pick. So far our top three, 10, 9, and 8, all pick players that in my opinion, they need it, right? Nobody really is getting a negative conversation out of me as of right now because I like the things that they did. And then, you know, with the new coach being in the league, he knows when he paid attention to this year. He played games and he paid attention to what the league looked like and he understand what the competition looked like and what other teams look like. So when you in that situation, you know you are a couple seasons behind with the average roster of playoff teams look like. You got to get your roster caught up to those type of rosters, and you got to take advantage of all the ways you can get your roster caught up to what these rosters look like at the top of the totem pole. So I like the start of what they're doing right now. This is their first full off season, and they already hitting all the right buttons right now. So shout out to our Vikings coach. I think they're doing exactly what they need to do to be successful in this league, especially when you playing the old Packers who are now the Desperados and the old Bears who are now our Super Bowl champ and are now the Thunderbirds. Next up, we're going to stay in the NFC North, and we're going to the Detroit Lions, who, in my opinion, had a hell of a draft last year. Like, they were here for the draft last year, and he did a really good job in picking what he needed in the draft. So to build off that first Legends class, they're back at it again in the second draft of theirs, and I think the Lions are headed to super success, man. They're going to be, to me, out of the new coaches that came in the league, they're the front runners of getting to success early because of the roster, right? You know, when you're in my league and we're this far along, the roster matters, right? And then the scheme comes second. You got to have the players. You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes to be able to get things done, right? And I think the Lions are putting themselves in a situation to have the Jimmies and the Joes, and especially to carry them into July. So let's get to the Lions, see what they look like and what their pick was. All right. Detroit. Eminem City. All right, let's take a look at their class. They had the 7th pick. I want to see something real fast. Because some of the linemen was 21 years old. All right, cool. All right. I got to check down sometimes to the 21-year-olds because we did have linemen that were 21. All right. Rob Gronkowski. You go get maybe the best tight end of all time, right? You can go argue that. You go get Gronk. Big Gronk come out. X Factor right away. And you're getting a guy that really is going to be a problem because what you're getting out of Gronk is a blocking tight end and a very big time threat. And I like it. So to really make sense of this pick, right, the first thing you got to do is look what they did last year, right? So they come back with 28-year-old Colt McGraw. Don't know if he's the starter, but I do know Tom Brady is here. So it makes perfect sense to go get Gronk, right? If you think I'm good at making players to their shells to who they really are, then you would know that this is a hell of a pick for the Detroit Lions. That shit just sound like it just keep turning up. Tom Brady gets his weapon, right? You got Barry Sanders in last year's draft. And again, I said I wouldn't, go through all this, but like we're gonna start here. All right, so let's go back to Gronk, and I love the pick. Right, you get yourself better on offense. Anytime you can go get your weapon. What am I doing? Ant? Focus, focus. Can't multitask. Focus. All right. So anytime you go get your tight end weapon like Gronk, it's a win for, in my opinion, right? And we can argue that this is right now maybe the favorite pick right now, right? Go get your tight end. You know how important tight ends can be in this league, not just my league. How it's important tight ends can be on this game, period, right? You got a guy that can really, do the dirty work for you in the receiving game. Plus, he's going to be strong on the edge as a blocker too, turning the corner on stretches. So now Barry got an extra blocker out there as well for him. So things can get really, really scary over here for the Detroit Lions. I like the pick, like it a lot. Did a hell of a job. Big Gronk goes in the top tens, number 7 to be exact. All right, so our old Steelers, the new Orbits, Orlando Orbits right now, right? They had the 6 overall pick, and we're going to take a look at their 20-year-olds, and they did a pretty good job. I love what they did, right? Because what they did, they didn't attack what everybody else would have attacked first. Most people are going to be attracted to the skill positions, no matter how good linemen are. They're going to be attracted to the skill positions first, no matter what, right? But they go get a lineman of linemen, and they go get Dallas Cowboys Larry Allen, right? The man that held down Troy Aikman and them through the 3 Super Bowl wins. Larry Allen's out here at 20 years old. This was a hell of a pick because this was this was the best pick so far out of the fucking top 10. Why? Because he went and got a lineman that's going to book in. A lot of guys had linemen on superstars already, but those guys are up there in age where we dropping those guys no matter what. We usually don't drop linemen or quarterbacks in my league. Well, we're dropping anything that turned 30, so it doesn't matter the position right now. So this is the retool right here. And he didn't just get one; he went and got a couple linemen in this year's draft. But Larry Allen, he comes in day one starter, 99 overall. We're looking at 90 awareness right away. I make lineman 85, but he's a 90, 85 awareness right away. But you're looking at a guy who's a mountain, and he's going to man down that outside right away, right? You know how important it is to have a good tackle, left or right tackles. It's very important to have good ones. And they got their guy not only of the future, he's the right now. And what they like to do in the passing game, they need time to do it, and they got a guy that's going to better do both. Give them running lanes and exactly hold their quarterback down. He's going to protect that blind side, and he's going to do a hell of a job with it. Hell of a pick by on and these orbits, man. I really feel like this was a really good pick. Hope y'all agree with it because that's a really bold pick right there. Number 5. All right, so number 5 was the Bills, and Coach Boone he didn't draft himself, but when you don't draft, and if you're bored now set, the computer going to pick the right player for you. Now, let's take a look and see where they went. I can tell you where they went right away. Gerald McCoy, and it's the new Gerald McCoy because in real life, the Madden made him, he would not come out with no 94 speed, 94 excel, but he was the number 1 rated right in the draft. Clowney was right behind him, and Gerald McCoy goes to the Bills, and this was a complete fucking need. Like the Bills got good receivers, they got good running backs. They need interior guys that can help them really take their game to the next level to be a playoff team, a team that can get consistent wins. And I think Gerald McCoy is the foundation of that. When you get a pass rusher that got this type of speed, especially when the league is fast as the way that our league is fast, or you got 95s and 90s at linebacker running all around and all that. You need a guy coming off the edge with this type of speed, this type of physicality, right? Strength and size. You need that, right? And I think they got themselves the book in for sure, right? They also got they had a couple guys, right? They got a good deep tackle room, and they also got another defensive end on the other side that's going to go hand to hand with Gerald McCoy. And now you can get to the quarterback in Buffalo. So now they're the way they blitz defensively, and you got pressure like that, you don't have to send blitzes all game long. You can actually sit in coverage and let the 4th down lineman get to the quarterback. And I think bringing in the Gerald McCoy does exactly that. Really good pick for Boone. All right, the Ravens made a trade before the draft, way before the draft. It was actually last draft, last offseason. They made the trade with the Chiefs, so they had the number 4 pick, and this going to be the first questionable pick in a sense, uh, because you can actually say why, right? Like this is going to be one of those why. So the Ravens come to the clock. They walking up to the board where most think they probably going to go the best defensive lineman in the draft. That's their norm. They usually go. They usually take care of that defensive front before they do anything else. But the Ravens are one of those football teams that aren't really losing too much, right? Their oldest players are 28, 20. They got one 29-year-old, maybe two. They got a really young roster because they've been resetting their roster every year, right? So this is one of the young teams in the league that really are coming back with everything. So really, their pick could be a luxury pick, but they don't operate that way. I don't operate that way. Nothing's really luxury for me. If I get it, it's because I need it, in my opinion, right? But if you look at the Ravens wide receiver room, there's two things you could take from this. You can look at Mike McEwen at 29 years old, White Mike on his way out the door. He will not be a ability player after this season. And then you're looking at Emmanuel Dipp, the old Peter Ward. You're looking at Emmanuel Dipp, who's also 28, and their other receivers. So their starting 3 receivers are up there in age at 27. Usually when the Ravens do a move like that and go bring in an extra guy at a position they probably really didn't just need right away, somebody's getting traded, right? Or somebody's coming in the building. Something like that. So this could be the first questionable pick. This could be, yeah. But then if you know me, you know I'm a Peter Work fan, and you know this is the type of receivers I love. And again, one of those receivers that came out that I put on 90 awareness during that draft, right? I put 3 receivers on that. And you'll know it if you got them. So I love this pick because again, if you look at it from my standpoint, exactly, you already know. You already know. And my bias, look, here go my bias. Listen, here go my bias though. This is me just being as real as possible. You know damn well Peter Work should have 75 awareness. He ain't nobody that's supposed to, because he didn't have a good NFL career. So it's not like he a Mount Rushmore guy, but because it's my favorite player and I'm biased and I knew exactly that. And it was crazy because I'm like, do I go get him at 14 or do I get him at 4? And I know because people know that's my favorite guy, they know they getting a super dog. Possibly wouldn't have been there at 14, so I got him at 4. And I'm dealing with it. But this is my guy. This is giving me a reason to want to throw the football and do some Peter Work shit with the ball in my hand. But we really looked at it like this. As deep as our receiver room looked, because we do have a running back that could play both receiver and running back at any time. He was drafted as a receiver. We moved him to running back and Mason Israel. So we're not really in a situation with receivers. But Percy Harvin coming in last year and Peter Work coming in this year to go along with Baca. Nook Walls, I know he's 27. That's 3 more seasons you would think I would play. All right, well, we got 3 seasons with Nook Walls. Not us. When they start getting to that age, we ready to move on from them.
But Jack's got him a pick before me, man. Face filming, medium dark skin tone.
Hey, you know who you got. You know who you got that I motherfucking fuck it. Hoodie, type in the chat who you grabbed that I was on your ass for. No home, no diddy. As soon as you drafted him, how many text messages you got from me right away? Oh my God. And my dumb ass go get the corner at 14 instead of just going go get him. But anyway, how many of y'all think,
to draft him at 22?
Man, how many of y'all think that maybe
Tears of joy. This the fastest receiving core I ever seen. Tired face rolling on the floor laughing. This
they all flying, right? So ready? Let's just give you the conversation of this receiver room. Mike McEwen got up to a 99 speed. He came in the league 97. Emmanuel Dipp, this was the old Peter Ward. He actually was a 94 speed. He got up to that 99. Now, Nook Walls came in the league already 99. Back to back. Remember in this draft, I drafted a receiver. Well, actually, Shoguns drafted him. That's why the zero's next to him. Shoguns drafted him, and I traded Shoguns for him. But in that same draft, at 10, I drafted a true 99 speed receiver, which was Tony Baca. It was 3 of them in that draft. The Bucks drafted the other one, Hutchinson. He was 99. So, and then Peter Work 98 with the 99, my green arrows up. Percy Harvin. He came in 97 though, and then Peter Ward came in 98, 98. So we flying, but we ain't the fastest. You go watch when I go through some of these teams. We flying though. But Mike Machuan's out the building because he won't have an ability. Dip is gone. I'm trading him, or I'm gonna let him go somewhere. He won't be a part of my team because I changed his name to Emmanuel Dip. And then Nook Walls is on the block. Anybody looking for a 6'4" receiver for a couple of years? That means he won't come as expensive as somebody younger would. Hit me up. But my question is, the reason I'm staying long on this situation, right, is that a reach pick, right? You heard Hoodie say, everybody know that's your favorite player. You want to let him go nowhere. But is that a reach? Like, do the Baltimore Ravens at 4, did they have better value to go get at 4 than come in and get a receiver? Especially how I explained it. If you really look at it, 3 of my receivers is walking out the door. They'll be here this year, but they're walking out the door. So if you're looking at it as a future situation, maybe you can agree that it wasn't a
50
luxury
slash
pick.
50.
Because right now, I would say if I wasn't myself,
I'm tanking so you'll get a good pick.
if I wasn't I don't even need a good pick, bro, because he's 27, I'm not gonna ask for much. Like, I'm not getting no first out of that. I don't know. Shit, motherfucking, we just had one of the best receivers go to the Chiefs, and he only got 2 seconds for him. So the value of receivers, you know what these receivers look like in this league. The value of receivers ain't that high at all. But with that being said, like, I'm gonna say this is a luxury pick. I'm not gonna say this is a pick in need. We didn't need anything, so it was a luxury pick. So let's move on to who had the number 3 pick. And at number 3, we're looking at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Gator wasn't able to draft, but if y'all remember, he drafted last year. He cleaned the fuck up. He had one of the best. It was 3 teams that I thought had really good drafts. The Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Buccaneers had really good first year legend drafts. But the again, if you don't set your board, the computer is not going to miss. It will not miss. Understand what I'm saying? If you don't set your board, the computer will not miss. All right, at all. They will not miss. And now here's the thing. At 3, there's really no way to tell him unless my brain can remember it, or you can go through the things that I tell y'all on how to kind of guess if a guy going to be, like, for example, if it's a Mount Rushmore Hall of Famer, right, one of the better players of all time, and they a Hall of Famer and they won Super Bowls or Super Bowl, 9 out of 10 they gonna come out on X Factor. So that was my give I gave y'all all last year. So so for this next legend draft, you'll understand that if it's a guy that passed away and didn't get to finish his career, like a Sean Teller, like a Steve McNair, like those type of guys, like a Sam Mills, even though he finished his career. But if those guys passed away, uh, then I might throw the X factor on those guys. The other X factors are just guys that come with it. Although I'm editing them and turning them into legends, if they already come with the X factor tag, I'm not taking it away from them because we know they're going to be really good shell players, and that happens in the draft. How many guys go in the top 15 are going to be like that in the top 15, right? There's always
At
one
2.
that you're not expecting to be great that end up being great, right? Um, so at 3, Kevin Carter ain't a bad pick in my opinion. I don't know what I don't know if he's X Factor or superstar, but when you picking in the top 5, you got to get yourself an X Factor. You got to aim for X Factor. Now I don't always equate to that, but you want to, especially if you understand the system. So especially with the Legends draft, you should understand that system. Again, he didn't pick. The board had him set on his board, and 92 overall. You kind of want at 3, you want a 95 or above. But considering the computer did this pick for him, we won't kill the pick at all. And I'm not mad at it, right? You got a good speed, good strength, and you got a guy that is serviceable, and it might be a need if the computer picked it. Um, so in my opinion, I like the hit power, I like the impact block, I like the block shed, the power moves, and the finesse. Like, this guy is not going to take much to build. Now, the good thing about this guy not being under 95 is that you got so much time. Look, 91, 92, 92. So that's 7, that's 8, and 9 upgrades. Think about that, right? If you look at it like that way, 92, 92, 91 to get them to 99, 99, 99, that's a lot of upgrades you can get to help with that awareness and play rec on a guy. Because if you get a guy 95 or above, that's going to be a short chance of moving that awareness and play rec up, right? They starting off with 75s. So you're going to get a 99 out player that don't go higher than an 80 awareness and play rec, and that's the mismatch or difference when I build players, right? Because to make them great at the other things, the awareness and the play rec is usually low. Some of you guys got tight ends. Check your tight ends, right? If your tight end doesn't have at least a 70, 75 awareness, let me know so I can fix it. Because I did fix that this draft. This draft I came out, I let tight ends come out 70 to 75 or 80. So let me know if you got a tight end. I went through the league already. I told you I broke night after the draft. I never took it down. And I kind of went through some teams and saw that they were low and I fixed them already. So a lot of y'all might have not realized it, but I fixed them. Let me hold something, bro. God damn. Hey, come on, man. Let me hold something, bro, before I get mad for you calling me Stuttering Stanley. But at 3, I'm not mad at the pick because he wasn't here to make the pick. So again, I'm trying to show the positives of it because you do got a lot of upgrading to do with this guy that you can kind of balance him out and really, and in a year or two, he could be actually a dog, like, especially with the turnover where most of us are dealing with legends and resetting our rosters. Play rec and awareness aren't going to be as high as they usually be when you building from scratch from 80s to 75s to 85s and you know what I mean, around that area. So I'm not mad at the pick at all. But let's get to the number 2 pick, and that was the Dallas Cowboys. All right, now we know the Cowboys made his pick, so I only got to do slide down a little bit right here to the Cowboys, get to the 20-year-olds, and let's take a look at what they did. So the Cowboys took a top 5 player in the draft at cornerback. They took the number 1 quarterback on the board, and that was Patrick Surtain. You can never be mad, ever. You can never be mad at taking the top corner off the board, right? And I like this pick because most guys are going to chase high, tall corners and all that. He chased the best available. And at 2, you got to do that, right? This is definitely a top 5 pick. So this is a guy that's going to come in and right away and going to play with a good shell because you didn't draft him faster than he's supposed to be drafted. Like Peter Ward, I'm going to have to work with him and getting him to, do some of the great things that he's built to do because I picked him way ahead of schedule, right? Usually when you pick them, when they tell you it's a great pick and it's a green pick, they're letting you know he's going to play well for you right away. He's still going to do some rookie things, but he's going to play well for you right away. I like this pick. I think the Cowboys are in a situation where that team hasn't been manned for so long. This guy can't do nothing but come in and fix this team, period. So anything he do is going to be an upgrade right away. So I really like this pick, Patrick Surtain. And you got yourself a bookend corner, a guy that can come right in day one and be a shutdown. And get to work, right? Put him on the field and let him go through an experience because once you get him built to the way he should be built, he's going to be a dog, right? Especially a guy coming in right now. And what you got to understand is, what the fuck? Hey, man, I'm not going to do it on the show. Let me fix this nigga. Oh, my God. They going to be fucking up on players and shit. He ain't supposed to look like that at all. God damn. Well, thank God I'm looking at it because, boy, and he wouldn't have said nothing. He'd have just dealt with it. That's what I drafted. All right, number 1, the Houston Texans had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And at the end of the day, I can go right to what they went to. Here's their starting quarterback, C.J. Stroud. He's been their guy since the league started, but now C.J. is 30. It's crazy that a rookie that started off the league with is now too old to play with. Think about that. That's how many years we've been playing, fellas. How many years we've been locked in. But they come in and they got Eric McNair, and right away Eric McNair comes out on X Factor because Eric McNair passed away. And to me, he was one of the toughest human beings on earth that played the sport of football, especially at the quarterback position. So they got themselves a dog. They motherfucking really put themselves in a situation, and I'm not mad at this pick, right? You had Eli Manning, you had Kurt Warner, you had Dan Marino. All 3 of those quarterbacks are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks and are in the Hall of Fame, all but Eli. You know, Eli will be in the Hall of Fame. He got the Manning last name, right? But they were quarterbacks that guys would look at and probably wouldn't want at all. Like they're not even like in my opinion, the three X factor quarterbacks would have went later than the superstar quarterbacks, right? Because Steve McNair and Dante Culpepper would have been the most intriguing, one because of speed and two because of who they were. When Eli, Kurt, and Marino are the better quarterbacks, flat out better quarterbacks. But Steve McNair was in their realm, period, right? He was the one quarterback out of the top three that came out that was top three eligible. And he went to Harold and the Houston Texans. They needed him. They needed a quarterback. Simple as that. You lose your guy, get your guy. Whether you trade for him, get him out of free agency, or you go draft one, and they did exactly that. So Steve McNair is the first overall pick in our 2031 draft, and that's just how it went. All right, fellas, let's get to these teams and see what the Bengals did as overall. All right, so you take a look at it, and when I'm talking about the teams, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about their draft class and how it matches up to what they did the year before as well to show you where they can go with their football team going forward, right? I don't care about anything that's older than 21. I don't care about that. 20 and 21 is all I'm talking about. All right, so Terry Crews, this is what I'm going to do. Before I get into his team, this is what I'm going to do for y'all. If y'all pick Corey to win the Super Bowl, I'm giving you a +3. Speed, +3 excel on any player of your choice. If you pick 5 out of the top 10 draft picks in this year's 2024 draft, I'm doing the exact same thing again, +3. So DM me and let me know, right? But I'm giving out one right now. If you know who Terry Crews is and can tell me what team he got drafted or he was playing for right now in the chat right now, I'm giving out a trait upgrade. Who the fuck is Terry Crews? The first 5 that comment who he is and where he played at will get a trait upgrade.
White Chicks, Chargers, Rams, Actor.
Here's the thing though. Y'all all, here's the thing. Y'all all are right. Y'all all are right. But I asked for 2 things. Who he played for and who is he? Top 5. First 5 that tell me who he is and who he played for will get the trait upgrade. Now, while I'm waiting for that. While I'm waiting for that, I'll talk about Terry Crews. All right, so we got him at outside linebacker, and we talking about Damien. We gotta go downstairs. Damien said y'all better have that rent money. That's all I know.
991 Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Actor.
Mm-hmm.
Actor. Training day.
So we should be saying
Rams, Chargers, Redskins.
Where he is now and who he played for. Simple as that. He's a blank and he played for blank. And 1 comment. All right, Ralph Neely, veteran offensive lineman from the Legends class, Ralph Neely.
Actor and show host. Drafted by Rams.
There we go. There we go. That's the first person that got it right. There we go. Now, if he's right or wrong, I don't know. But if you say he's an actor and who he played for, then you're that's 2.
Actor Rams.
That's 3.
Rams actor.
That's 4.
Drafted 11th, 1,900.
That's 5. It's a wrap. Shit over with. Max, Bo, Jimbo, and Craig. Max, Bo, Jimbo, Craig. It was some and Gator. That's 5 right there. All right. So you get Ralph Neely, offensive lineman, veteran offensive lineman.
Dancing guy.
But here go the funny thing though. In the second round, the Cincinnati Bengals pick Adam Vinatieri. Now, any of y'all think, what the fuck? You go get a kicker in the second round. Who you, the fucking Raiders? Who you, the Raiders and shit, my nigga? Right? But this is a legend draft, and if you paying attention to the entire draft, if you hoodie, who I know for a fact don't miss shit, this motherfucker know everything that's made in the draft. He can go all the way down to undrafted, all the way up to the number one pick, from punter, kicker, down to whatever. He gonna know what's in that motherfucking draft. So if you're a guy like that, then you knew it was only two kickers in the draft. And if you was a guy paying attention to the league, you know anything 30 got dropped. So you might have had a superstar kicker for the last 5 years that's 35 years old right now, and you know the difference on having a guy on superstar and that got a foot can do for you versus not having that type of guy, right? So, and your only way of getting one is by buying a my player. So if you ain't spending money, you gonna do it. This motherfucker right here did. Go get him in a second and make sure he guarantee himself his franchise kicker going forward. Right? We just watched the Super Bowl be played, and the the Houston Oilers, literally missed the field goal by yay much from on the other 45. On the other 45, right? He wasn't even on his own 40. He was on the other 45, and he barely missed that kick. That's what a superstar with a foot can do for you. So what do you think Adam Vinatieri? We watched Hoodie kick a 70-yard field goal against Snake. And that was in his memory bank when he picked him in the second round. He wasn't the only person that grabbed the kicker early as shit. But you only could do that when your roster is good enough to do that, right? You gotta and that was everybody. 9 out of 10 players in this league was able to be able to do what Snake and Jimbo did, which is go get kickers fast, right? Get them when you can get them before anybody else jump on them, right? It was 2 kickers, 2 fullbacks made. I grabbed the fullback with the first pick in the second round. Hey, Erica, can I hold something, pro? So, in a draft full of legends all over the place, Adam Vinatieri might be one of the biggest pickups in this year's draft, right? Like, you got to look at that kicker, especially knowing that the kicker's been dropped. You got to look at that as a win. That's a really good pick. So, you're looking at Terry Crews, who played in what's the football movie with Adam Sandler? He's the cheeseburger did McDonald's. You feeling McCheesy right now? You got Terry Crews at outside linebacker. You picked up a good offensive lineman that can come in and start day one for you, and then your kicker is your franchise guy along with Derwin James. But then you start to look a little deeper at what they did. They had a really good draft, right? They go get Dante Hall, the kick return, punt return specialist, human joystick, who's made exactly like that. Change of direction 99. Look, ball vision 99. This guy gonna walk shit back for him, guaranteed. Right? Then you go get a really good corner from the University of Texas, Aaron Ross, that comes right in and plays well. And on his roster, he's up to a 99 speed, 99 excel with the green arrows up. So you know he came in with solid speed. And now you got another corner in the building. Now, I would say questionable pick in my opinion, because if you paid attention to what he did last year, actually he didn't do it himself, but what the draft did for him last year was they drafted Champ Bailey, Darrell Green, and Ty Law. So for him to go get another corner, right, and the rest of his corners aren't young, so like this is a deep ass for cornerback room, right? You got Earl Savage who could play anywhere on the field, sub linebacker, corner, or safety. And usually I make a guy that's that type of guy, right? Not everybody can play corner and sub linebacker or safety, right? But he is one of those guys that has that label. And they got not Pac-Man, but they got Jones Pac-Man, and he's only 25, and John Kirkpatrick is only 24. So they have really good corners right now, and then they bring in all legends: Ty Law, Darrell Green, Champ Bailey, and then they bring in Aaron Ross. Now that's a questionable pick in my opinion, but it's a lot of corners in this cornerback room, and I'm quite sure there are guys in this league that need cornerbacks. So I'm assuming the pick was I'll play with him if I need him. I'm not mad at it. But if I could pick a punter or a kicker in the second round, I could damn sure grab the best available player, in my opinion, and Aaron Ross as well. And if I need to trade somebody, I'll trade somebody. Simple as that, right? Like that's the way I look at it. So it ain't a bad pick. It ain't ideal when you got a deep cornerback room off of last year's legend class, but getting Brian Westbrook gives him a swing back, right? This is the guy that's going to be that can play the receiver out the backfield for you. That goes along with Jackson Bo Nose, and then they also got a couple running backs in that building, but like they get a guy that can catch the ball out the backfield very well. He can give you some return stuff as well, but why would you want to put him back there doing anything when you got Dante Hall? So I love it. I love what they did. They continue to build off of what they did last year. Last year they attacked the defensive side very heavy, right? Very heavy. All right, the gem of their draft was Adam Vinatieri. You can look at Adam Vinatieri and say he's a little bit more important than Derwin James is.
Bengals loaded man face booming.
They fucking loaded just with the legends. Like this is nuts. They got some shit over here, right? Their secondary is going to be really crazy over here, and then Terry Crews, if you can grow him up a little bit, you might got yourself something there. All right, so I like what they did. Let's take a look at the Bills. All right, Brandon Washi, cornerback. This is not a my player. This is a guy that I had in the draft. I dropped him down to the undrafted, and boom, drafted him. So Brandon Washi, that's a solid corner at 6'4", good speed, right? He's gonna be a guy that should be a day one starter. But they went Cadillac Williams in the running back room. Damian Lewis, this is my guy. He coaching Colorado right now, the D tackle. I was going to draft his ass too, but he got him before I could, man. The computer tore that shit up. If he don't make the playoffs, he needs to be fired. Yo, you ain't lying, bro. He need to stop. See, Boone problem is all he do is hop on a play. He don't do nothing with his team. Don't draft. Don't sign nobody back. Don't do nothing. Just hop on a play. And the reason why he's doing that is because he ain't having success on the field that got him entertained enough to be on here talking shit and then chat every day. There's a couple guys that need to be in these alls real soon. There's a couple guys that got to get themselves back in the alls. You talking about Snake or Boom? I think Snake ain't listening to what y'all saying about him almost being out of the playoffs for a decade. I think Snake looking at it like I've been missing time on a game. If I'm playing, I'm in the offs. Oh, you talking about Snake getting? I think Snake understand the scrutiny that's come at him right now because he's very vocal when he used to do shows with me. He had no problem letting guys know what they were doing or what they wasn't doing right. So for y'all to be saying he better make the playoffs, it's understandable, right? Because now he don't got the gun. That rabbit don't got the gun right now. And when the other rabbit got the gun, when the rabbit got the gun, and that's what's happening. But I do think Snake can, if he can give us an active season, I think he can be able to do something. He got the team to do it. Like they're loaded everywhere. They got the team to do it. All right, so James Washington, this was a great pick because you drafted a guy that's that comes in with Super Bowls, right? He won 3 with the Cowboys, so you got an X factor as soon as he unlocks. So I like this. They got bigger. They've been playing with Fitzpatrick for a long time. Even after Unc was done playing with him, he got traded at a very old age, and Boone was rocking with him and keeping him in the top 5 for like 3 years until he was too old to be able to play anymore. So you need a safety in the building. I love it. Again, they got Gerald McCoy. That's a great piece. They also brought in Felix Jones, and if you can remember Felix Jones, he was a solid weapon for the Cowboys. He did really good. Him and Darren McFadden in the same backfield at Arkansas was great. And then Carson Palmer gets picked up. This is probably something he wouldn't have picked up, but the fact that he didn't draft, they're going to go get a backup quarterback for him. And then you ask yourself, how old is this quarterback now? He really don't need this quarterback. So if somebody don't have a quarterback and they need a superstar quarterback, Carson Palmer is sitting right here on the Bills roster waiting for somebody to come make him a starter. All right, so overall, they got some running backs in the building. They got a safety. I'm not mad at it. Cadillac Jones is a big-time player, but their top 3 players, in my opinion, is Gerald McCoy, Brandon Washi, and then Damian Lewis from Miami, the University of Miami boy. Oh, my God. Now, with that being said, you got Earl Thomas, you got Clay Matthews here, Novacek, Ricky Jackson. So they had a pretty, really good two drafts of legends. The computer picked up some shit for them. But what made me like this offseason for Boone, whether he did it or not, let's take a look at what they got in their on their defensive line. Rose lost his shit, and Matt Beckwith is 24, and you can see he's X factored out. Then you're looking at DJ Freeney, and then you're looking at Gerald McCoy at the D end, so they can go two deep there, three deep at the D ends. But in that D tackle room, Amari Boone at 29, you'll be losing him next year. Damon comes right in there and takes that role right away, along with Bernie Hatchett. So they got players they needed. Then you take a look at that cornerback room, and you see Reese is 28, Jen is 28. So then you got Rashad Stevens. You also picked up Washi. So now you got a guy that comes in at 6'4", at 210, day one starter, and he comes in and takes one of these old head jobs. Simple as that. All right, so I like what he did. Grade wise, I'm not going to grade him because he didn't do it. The computer did it for him, so I'm not going to give him a grade.
If Boone stopped throwing the ball to one player, he can make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard because he got to go through you and Falk over there. Like, that's hard to be in a division where two guys make it every year, three to make it out of there, especially with the NFC North is definitely three deep over there. And then we got some new high risers happening in the West and in the South. So the AFC is starting to get back to good football play right now. Like, there's been some good football being played over there. All right, let's go to the Bisons. I'm looking at the Bisons right now, and they pick up Randall Gay, nice cornerback from LSU, DBU. Now, the pick that I do like the Dat Win pick right here. This is a good pick. Got one of the fastest linebackers in the draft this year. They bring in Brandon Carr as well, another superstar corner. They needed a running back. They lost their running back for age reasons, but Kejana Carter is a solid running back. Now, he was a better running back in college than he was in the NFL, but they bring in a guy that's serviceable, right? Good break tackles and trucking already, good change of direction, good strength, and he's a guy that got some good speed. So this is a throw the football offense, but when you got a baby Cam in the backfield at the starting quarterback, now you got your 1-2 punch back there in the run game. I love it. Their number one pick was LeVar Arrington. And hey man, this is Penn State LeVar. This ain't the Washington Commanders LeVar. Even though LeVar had an alright career, I just can't stand his mouth as an analyst. Like, he gets the fuck on my nerves. But I love this pick, and the fact that he was able to come back at pick 29 and get Russell Maryland. This was the steal of the draft. Him and Vince Wilfork going to the Rams and Russell Maryland going to the Bisons. It's crazy to me that they went that late. Like, they were top 10 picks. They went that late. Now, I think Mike, and the guys ain't been paying attention to Mike, right? And the problem is he lost one of his defensive ends that's been a top defensive end in the league far as sack wise and award wise for about the last 3 to 4 seasons. Nobody's paying attention to it. Eli's still there, but the other guy's gone. He had two guys that had double-digit sacks for the last 3 to 4 years. All right, so Cameron Wake was sitting on a red shirt last year. He didn't play him at all, but now he takes over there. But then you go to the D tackle room, and this is what you bring in, right? Love it. You upgrade it with Russell Maryland. Russell Maryland coming right in right now, and he's a dog. He's going to play right now along with DJ Meredith. So you got yourself a really good D tackle to go along with it. So I love what this guy did right here, and I'm gonna give him I'm actually giving him an A. I like this draft because his cornerback room was getting up there in age as well. So I'm gonna go with an A. Any of y'all disagree with me? All right, so that win, you get yourself a superstar middle linebacker. You got two good corners in Randall Gay and Brandon Carr. Kejana Carter, running back you need. You got the best middle linebacker in the draft, and then you get the number 1 D tackle in the draft. Not mad at it at all, to go along with Terrell Davis. So you got two good running backs now. And the reason why you want Kejana Carter over Terrell Davis is because at this point, having a 90 speed running back will not cut the motherfucking it will not cut anything, right? Terrell Davis, he getting hawked by D linemen with that speed. You brought Charles Woodson in, and you brought Weapon X in last year along with Cameron Wake and fullback, running back, or tight end, and Keith Byers. I love it. You got Kevin Green off the edge as well, and then Sterling Sharp to go along with that receiving core you got. Mike had a good 2 years in a row draft. I love it. Love it a lot. I'm giving him an A. Flat out A. All right, let's look at the Broncos right here. All right, so some would say, why the fuck would you draft Eli Manning and Kurt Warner in the first round? Like, this guy drafted two first round he drafted two quarterbacks in the first fucking round. A lot of y'all would be like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Why would you even do some shit like that? Like, who does that? Why would you draft two quarterbacks? And they damn near the same quarterbacks. Why would you draft two
I'ma just
quarterbacks? So
start
two
charging
first
guys to
round
GM
picks.
their teams low.
I'm gonna just start charging guys to GM their teams, laughing it out. Nah, bro, this wasn't a dumb move, right? This wasn't a dumb move. This was, I know it's guys that need quarterbacks, and I'm gonna get both of these guys, and I'm gonna trade one. And the value of an X factor quarterback is high, at least two first round picks to start the conversation. So I'm not mad at this because you mortgaging off one of your late picks that you got from the Seattle Seahawks. Well, they played in the NFC Championship game, so they got picked 30 at the least pick 29 or 30, right? So you pick in really he's a second round pick that you about to double up on and get the house for. Might not, and you might get the house from him. Like, think about it, right? It's the other guys that don't got X Factor quarterbacks right now that would love to build a rookie on X Factor already that comes in the league with all his boxes available to him right now. So this is not a bad pick when you pick it now. But if I'm the Broncos, I know my needs. It's hard to do something like that if you ain't already got it kind of mapped out, right? Like, you gotta have that secured to be able to do something like that. So to me, I love it because I know that it can get mortgaged off to really set you up better than you already was, right? But the other part to it is I'm not going two quarterbacks in the
The
draft, right?
Seahawks.
There you go, right there. Seahawks. There you go. So now you starting that conversation off with at least two first round picks. So you getting a pick this year, a pick next year to be able to send Kurt Warner to the Seahawks. So now you great have two picks in each round. So you kind of doubled up. So in a sense, this is good GMing, right? This is mortgaging off a pick for your future. And let's just be real, right? He in a division where he can afford to do that. I guess you got to come back the next year and see what he do with those picks, or if he take those picks and go trade for players now. Like, I don't know, but I guess on the cover of it, right, without opening the book, you look at it and be like, what the fuck is he doing? Because you got to ask yourself this: Tate Martell is still in the building at 26 years old. What's the problem? Well, the problem is 92 throw power. He don't like that. I know that. He know that. And anybody that look at quarterbacks would know that, right? So you don't care about the speed when you're a guy that like to throw the football. You ain't a running quarterback guy. That don't bother you. The speed ain't gonna make you be like, man, right? That 92 throw power kill you, right? Completely kill you. So if I'm him, he's gonna keep Eli, and Kurt Warner's gonna go to the Seahawks, as you just heard him say. So I ain't mad at it, right? But on the cover, most guys wouldn't be thinking to get two quarterbacks in the first round when you already got a quarterback on X Factor at 26-year-old sitting in the building, right? Be- because you got one already. But when you know Martell, so anybody that's looking for a dual threat quarterback, Martell's probably going to be on the block too. So now you grade mortgage off a quarterback and get the house for it, and then you still got another one that you can either sit on your roster as a backup while Eli Manning grow up, or you could trade him and go get another quarterback out of free agency and then get some shit for him, right? Because at 26, I don't care what he look like. You're not getting him without giving up two first. Now, that's the other issue. The same reason why you don't like Tate Martell, everybody else is going to be on that same type of time. Unless it's the guy that want to roll the fuck out with a quarterback or run with a quarterback, they not giving you the house for no 92 throw power quarterback. The same reason why he's getting rid of it and draft two of them. All right, so let's get back to his complete draft as we stay there. Now, off those two first round picks, we'll just call it like this. From when we watching the draft and we see a quarterback going to first, and then we see another quarterback going to first from the same team, we're going to do the same thing everybody's been doing with the Atlanta Falcons pick this year. So right now, this is a bad draft for me. Tank Cardine, all right, that's a solid D tackle, really good speed, but he's small, 6'4", 275. And that speed is not. He can't even play DN because they ain't fast enough at this point right now. And he's too small to play. I don't care. And then he's not strong, 93. So right now that's a miss in my opinion as well. Now is Tank on ability? What ability is on? All right, he got a win there. That's a superstar, and he's gonna better develop it some. So that's a win. But as far as picking it, All right, Morris Claiborne, a dog. I ain't mad at this pick at all. You go get yourself a corner, and then you bring in Jimmy Smith, who's an underrated receiver. And if you guys follow football and know football how I know it, you know Jimmy Smith was a dog. So I like this, right? But then he get big George Hageman from the Cowboys. This guy's from my literally live right down the street from where I live at. He grew up right down the street from where I live at. He actually grew up where I hustled at. Grew up right on the motherfucking strip. George Hageman. But he a big time player, big boy. He up at Colorado right now, out there with Dion. He also played for the Cowboys with Dion as well. But George Hageman, that's a monster pick right there. So right now, I look at Eli Manning and Hageman as wins right now. All right. And they had a small class because last year they mortgaged off some trades, but they had a small class. I like the Jimmy Smith and the Claiborne. So he makes up for the Tarragine and then drafting 2 quarterbacks with the rest of his picks. But I can't give him an A here. I gotta give him a B minus. All right. Y'all all know the Bucks went crazy last year with his diaper dandies. Like he went fucking crazy last year. Flat out went crazy last year. Erica, let me hold something, bro, please. Oh man, Randall
Tracking
Godfrey.
company.
Look at that linebacker, 95 overall, really good speed. So this is a solid pick in my opinion. Mike Mincher, I love this pick. Let's see what Mike on. Mike Minter actually a coach right now. You lost me there. You got a star, God. Got a star there. It's not going. That's a guy that might not be able to see the field right away. There's no way, especially if you already got superstars in that. Yeah. Mike Minter gonna kill you. Yep. He don't got no ability safeties really, but one. He in a situation over here. Oh man, in a situation over here. Gotta get it together. What are you gonna do over here? Damn, that sucks. All right, so Mike ain't on ability. Godfrey, I like his overall. Then you go get Darren McFadden, but then you ask yourself this: are you mad at him when he got Bo Jackson, Bo Jackson? I'm not mad at him bringing in Darren McFadden because there's nothing wrong with a 2-headed monster in the backfield. So I'm definitely not mad at that at all. But I can't say that's that can get you an A pick though. But you don't lose when you go get just Davion Clowney, just Davion, right? You get the fastest DN in the draft, flat out, 6'5", 265. We know what he is, super freak, right outside the top 10 too, right
Anthony
outside the
Brown
top 10. He got him at
taken in the
12,
first round.
and he got him right outside the top 10, right? He got him at pick 12. No, he got him at he got him at pick 12. I know that because Mike was going to get him at 13, and he took him right before him. All right, when you look at this, you got your Davion Clowney, you got another running back in the building, you got a linebacker and a star safety. So, B, I think like Clowney make you go up. All right, and then you match it up with, because he went crazy last year. Like, he really had a good draft last year. Really good draft. As you can take a look at Carl Banks, Torrey Holt, Bo Jackson, and Swan. They did really good last year. So you match that class up with last year's class, and I'll say a solid B. Cardinals. All right, Derek Harvey from Florida. Carlos Dunlap from Florida. Kevin Carter from Florida. Lito Shepard from Florida. But the steal of the draft, in my opinion, was Tamba Ali. And the reason why is because how the fuck Tamba Ali go like 5th round? 4th round, I'm sorry. And I had the 4th pick. This is the second computer pick that took the player I wanted. Right here, third computer pick that took the player I wanted. Because I was going to go get him. I didn't need him, but you're not going to let him just sit out there like that, especially looking like the way he look right now. All right, let's get back to it. Again, they fucked the draft up last year. They tore the legend draft up last year, and in my opinion, they got better because you're looking at Dante Fowler, and this was a steal, right? Here's why he was a steal because he was one of those players. He was one of those players that was sitting on that without belonging on that, right? Remember, I tell you, if their shell come with the X Factor or they already on Superstar, they stand on it. I'm not going to change them. So that's a fucking steal right there. That's a big time win getting Dante Fowler on X Factor, in my opinion. Like the Cardinals roster is loaded, and he did it in 2 drafts. Damn, big. Blowing my shit. So I like it a lot. All right, so Carlos Dunlap. Let's go start. Let's check some abilities real fast because I'm not 100% sure if they all are superstars. Dunlap, superstar, got to win there. I hate that I'm gonna have to keep going back to 20s. We know Kajana Carr is Derek Carr, Bang Bang, Ratliff, Keywan Ratliff. Let's see what he hitting on. He's sitting on. He got him and Shepard. They went crazy in this draft. Hot star. Ali Superstar and Lito Shepard X Factor. And that's another shell that came out on the X Factor and he stole it. Now, the crazy thing is this. Without him doing it, the computer drafts all Florida motherfuckers. Look, Florida. Tom Ali from Penn State. Florida. 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 They went crazy on the Florida players. And I did a lot of that. I brought a lot of. I went to the college. I didn't go to the NFL to make the legends. I went through colleges and just ran down those rosters and brought out their top corners, top D linemen, top such and such, and he tore that shit up. Now you look at what he got there, and then you take a look at Chris Johnson, Mark Duper, Cornell Lake. You got Calvin Johnson, John Elway, Steve Smith, and Steve Smith. So they are loaded. Like this is a fuck. They are loaded. They are ready to make a like. They are ready to put the NFC West on notice this year. Like, hold up, we ready now. Without him making one pick this year, I like it. I'm gonna give him an A. Chargers. All right. So Patrick Robinson, my Florida State boys. I'm a Florida State super fan until Dion became a coach. Then I stopped liking Florida State when they started burning his jersey and shit. When he took Travis Hunter, they started burning his shit. All right, Patrick Robinson, I'm not mad at the pick at all. And he's from Florida State, so 9 out of 10 is ass on Superstar. Oh, we're going to see, though. Nope, I lied. All right, I ain't mad at it, though. Phillip Rivers. Well, he won because he just drafted a guy that actually played for his team, so he gets an upgrade just because of that. He get a +3/+3 on Phillip Rivers just because he drafted a guy that really got drafted by that team. So I'm not mad at that at all. All right, I like Dexter Coakley. Let's see if Dexter is on ability for him. Yes, sir. Now, last year he got Sam Mills, right? You see it? 5'9". And Sam Mills went crazy for him. And this year he get Dexter Coakley at 5'10". So his linebacker room small, but he got dogs though. All right, so he picked up Desmond Howard, and why you win with Desmond Howard? He's a Super Bowl winner, Heisman Trophy winner, and his shell was the X Factor. So you won there, right? Like you got yourself a really good punt returner, kick returner. That's going to be a sneaky good receiver because he's sitting on X Factor. All right, so I'm not seeing no losses there at all right now. Patrick Robinson. Then you take a look at Stan Mills, Randy Moss. We saw what he did. Jonathan Joseph, Cortez Kennedy, and you add that to his class, and they got a solid class. I like this. I think is. Oh my God, Christian Okoye. I forgot Christian Okoye went here too. Damn. Yeah, I'm giving him an A. I like it. I love what he picked up. Not mad at it at all because they lost Herbert and he replaced it with Phillip Rivers. And not only did he replace it with Phillip Rivers, he got a guy that they actually really drafted in real life. So shout out to Bo. We're giving that roster an A. I like the last 2 draft classes, and I like this class. It wasn't a bad class at all. All right, the Chiefs didn't draft, so let's just take a look at Shevis Jackson, Sergio Kindle, Anthony Spencer, Brian McFadden at corner, and Greg Olsen at tight end. I'm not mad at none of these picks at all. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because he actually didn't draft. He wasn't available to it. But they're solid picks. Neither did the Colts, but we'll look at Paul Puznowski. You got Takeo Spikes. They got good linebackers. But they picked Dud there. They only had 2 picks. Where the fuck is the rest of their picks? All right, I know why you ain't going to see their picks because they got 21-year-old. They got my player picks, not legends. So you're looking at a left guard sitting on a 98, a right tackle sitting on a 96, and a right guard. So he fixed his whole offensive line in one draft. And because of that, it makes up for everything else. But both of these guys are superstars, so you win there. This is a dud pick, and you did make up right here in your guard room. So I like it. I'm going to give him an A because he attacked that offensive line like Onk did. Nah, you know what? Let me not do that. I'm going to give him a B. But I love that he attacked the offensive line the way he did, even though he didn't do it. All right, the Commanders, they bring in Jarvis Moss. Thank you. Who you talking to, yo? Hold up, bro. I'm a mute because I don't feel like showing off, or you think I'm showing off. But who the fuck you talking to? Here, come here. Come here. Come here, bro. You blowing my shit. All right. Jarvis Moss is a super freak. 6'7", though, my nigga. That's what we talking about. I love it. Not mad at it at all. And he's from Florida. I love it. You know what them Florida boys look like on the field. Keyshawn Johnson in the building. He got the #1 receiver in the building, X Factor. Keyshawn on his way out the door, though, so we ain't got to worry about that. He'll be in a Baltimore Ravens uniform before 5 o'clock tonight. Why you on my face right now? Why you on my face right now? Why you on my face right now? Here, dog. Fuck out my face. You going outside with the dog? You taking that one outside? All right, take him with you, please. Call him, babe. Say, you got to say the outside word. Never mind, he eating treats. He ain't worrying about that shit. But Keyshawn, let's take a look at Keyshawn. Now, answer me this. Why is Keyshawn on X Factor? Let's see how many of y'all smart enough to know that he belongs on X Factor, right? Keyshawn won a bowl. Keyshawn in the Hall of Fame, right? That's the last time I checked. That was the criteria. And we great go get him. Remember, I just got finished telling y'all Nook Walls is 27, and because we ready to move on from him, we need a big receiver. Because if you know my motto, I don't play with tall receivers. I like small scat like receivers, them 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1" at the highest. I like those type of receivers that can catch the ball and make shit happen. But we need a physical receiver on the outside, and Keyshawn on his way to motherfucking Baltimore. Soon as the paper and the ink dry on the paper, he's gone.
Hit me up, Jimbo.
All right, they go get safety Major Right. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm ready to give out a gift, and this gift is going to be, you know what this gift going to be? This gift is going to be a plus 10, 2 points on 5 attributes. What game that Florida played during the year they won them Super Bowls with Tim Tebow and all them, that Major Right did something in the game that he's famous for right now? Tell me the game. That's it. I'll explain. If you know the game, I'll explain everything else. What game did Major Right become famous for Florida? Heard it all before. I'm talking. I'm waiting. Damn, Gator, that's how you feel? Damn. That's how y'all feel? Damn. Bro, if you listen to the story, all right, we done. Y'all 3 got it. We done. Hi, you went a little farther. All right, I ain't mad at you. You typing in Google, I know you is. You don't just know the receiver name. What was the receiver number? This nigga hit Google like a motherfucker. listen, listen what I'm ready to say. The story was, fuck the
That
pick.
big hit.
He went through that motherfucker. He ran through him. Jimbo, Hoodie, and Gator hit my DM and just remind me I owe y'all plus 10. And if y'all got the other one right, if y'all part of that group that got the other one
Squirrel
right,
his ass to
remind me
this
of that
drive
shit.
could have went for the ball.
He could have picked the ball
He
off,
could have
and
picked
then
the
he stood
ball.
over him, right. Yeah. Mr. I could have went for the ball. You're 100% right. Y'all 100% right. Mm-mm-mm. Bro, he lit that motherfucker up. And because of that hit, he comes in the league on Superstar because of that hit, I think. I'm not 100% sure. He might be a star. Nope. So he got himself one right here. So right now, he ain't picked nothing that I don't like. I mean, Keyshawn X Factor, Jarvis Moss on Superstar, Major Wright on Superstar. Then he goes and get Larry Brown, who won a Super Bowl and he won multiple Super Bowls and had a pick six to the crib in the Super Bowl against the Steelers. Now Larry Brown ain't an X Factor because Larry Brown, I don't think Larry Brown got a Hall of Fame jacket because he went to the Raiders and ain't do shit after that. All right, so he's Superstar. So this is still a good pick though, right? You got a guy that you know can get to the football. And then he brings in a legend, right? So when you bring in a legacy player, all right, I'm gonna give. All right, the first five to answer this question, I'll give another plus 10 out to. Here we go. Now remember, fellas, I'm not gonna remember none of this shit I'm giving out. So if I'm gonna know who gets it, I'm just not gonna know what the fuck I gave out. So I already gave out something else. I think a superstar, a trait upgrade. I think I gave that out already. I just gave a plus 10 out, and now I'm giving another plus 10 out on. You could tell me the two things Michael Westbrook is famous for. Two things. He also brought in Joe Hayden. Now, he brought in a legacy player, so he gets an upgrade for that. He gets the plus three for having a legacy player. But then he bring in Joe Hayden after bringing in Houston, Ken Houston, that's the Washington Commander player for real. Eddie George, Ward Dunn, Art Monk, Charles Mann, and Dexter Manley all played for the. He brought in guys that all played for the Washington Redskins during their bowl years, right? Manley,
Rolling on the
Charles
floor,
Mann,
laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing.
Art Monk. But Ward Dunn, that's my guy, Eddie George. They revamped themselves. Like, I like this shit. This is an age pick as well. This is an A draft. It's a fucking A draft. Hell of a fucking. Look at this shit, man. God damn. Like, they got all guys right now, right? And then you take a look at the roster, and you got your quarterback that you ain't got to worry about for a couple of years. But then your running back room gets younger with Ward Dunn and George, right? You got two power backs still with Real Pleasant and Darius Geis, my bad, with Ward Dunn. So, and then your wide receiver room, even with Keyshawn on his way out the building, you still got a loaded wide receiver room, right? You got one guy that'll be going after this year, but everybody else is still in the building. Butter Baker was like rookie of the year. He went crazy last 2 years ago, and then you still got Buddha Monk at 24 years old, 99 out. So they loaded right now. I like what the Commanders did. He had a hell of a fucking draft. Definitely A. All right, since I'm leaving this, that deal is over. All right, so Michael Westbrook is famous for two things. He punched the shit out of somebody at football practice. Remember that in the NFL? And they was great. They was ready like lock his ass up for that shit. Name the player that he knocked the fuck out. Dan there broke his eye socket. Who the fuck? See, what people don't know is he's a black belt martial art 2 guy. He can fuck fight. He don't need no pistol. He'll whoop somebody's ass on some Bruce Lee shit. But he knocked somebody's fucking head off. What was the running back name to my Washington Redskin fans? What was the running back name who he motherfucking uppercutted and when he uppercutted him so hard that his wife called the motherfucking called the owner, like, I think something happened to my husband. I felt it. I know the running back name too. I just want to know if y'all do. Because he knocked the shit out of him. And then the second thing he's famous for
Sounds like
is,
Portis to me, lol.
nah, it wasn't Porters. He ain't hitting no Porters like that. There to fuck his ass up. You know, Porters and them, them motherfuckers, they get it. They ain't doing all that. He did it to somebody. What was his name? Was it the boy Davis or some shit like that? What was the running back name? He said Porters. He said I'm making shit up. He knocked. What was the running back? Davis, I think it was for or Morris. No. It was David. Man, where the fuck Hitter at? Hitter gonna know. Hitter know right away. And Snake to know if they was watching this shit. They know right away. I just can't remember who it was. He knocked him square. He almost broke his fucking eye. All right. With that being said, and then the catch he made against Michigan in the bowl game, that made him famous. He was a dog, but that made him and what's the quarterback? Slash. What's the quarterback? Cordell Stewart rolled out through the motherfucking Hail Mary up against Michigan, and he caught the touchdown to win the game. It wasn't a championship game. I don't think that was the year they won a championship. That was when Colorado was good. That was in the early '90s, like early '90s,
Stephen
like
Davis.
Stephen Davis. There you go. Knock Stephen Davis fucking eye socket out. All right, Plaxico Barrett goes to the Cowboys. Imagine that. We already talked about Surtain, but here goes the Weapon X for the Cowboys right now, right? Because you got Peyton Hillis, who actually could play fullback. Remember, he was a guy, one of the first fullbacks ever to get a Madden cover. He was on the cover of Madden. How many of y'all remember what year that was? But Peyton Hillis, you get a good fucking fullback running back. He was at Arkansas as well. And he could play fullback or running back for you. Now let's go look at the Cowboys running back room and see how good this pick really was. All right, your running back is 28, and you got Jaron McKnight at 24, not on ability. So you kind of needed this in your running back room for sure. You got your speed guy and Kenny Shaw, and then you bring in your power guy and Peyton Hillis. And you can also double duty him and let him play fullback because his blocking stuff is off the chart. So I'm not mad at that pick. I like it a lot. We already know what Patrick Surtain looked like, and we know what Plexico Bears look like. Now, Plexico dumbass shot himself in the fucking groin, but he ain't on X Factor because he won the Super Bowl, but he ain't in the Hall of Fame. Ahmad Black, we know who he is. He's the other safety from Florida. This is a good pick. And if he's on Superstar, this is a hell of a pick.
Madden 12.
Madden 12, there you go. Superstar too. How about that speed on Ahmad Black? 95. All right, and then he picked up Andrew Garreau, offensive lineman, so that's a hell of a pick as well. And that's to go along with Lawrence Teller, John Randall, Zach Thomas, Lance Briggs, and Jason Peters, offensive lineman. So they're getting it together over there in Chicago, and Cowboy Nation and Dallas. They're getting it together. I like this. I like it a lot right now. Got some work to do over here, though. They still got work to do on this roster, but I'm not mad at it at all. So I'm going to give you a B. All right, the Desperados, the old Packers, they go get Dante Culpepper because their quarterback went into the free agency. So the computer drafted the quarterback, and they go get Dante Culpepper, big time, 6'4", 265. The question is, you got your quarterback back and Drew Raines. Is he going to be the guy, or does Dante take over for you? They got Brian Robinson, the D tackle at 6'4", 305, 97 strength. That's a solid pick. They also brought in Moose Johnston, the fullback that blocked for Emmitt Smith, to help Emmitt Smith win the rushing title over his career. Even though he wasn't there when he broke the rushing record over Walter Payton, but Moose was there as a fan. He was an announcer at that point, but Moose Johnson was the guy. You know, he can catch the ball out the backfield as well and get you some tough yards. But it's a good fullback to have. Alonzo Jackson, you get yourself a really fast DN. I mean, goddamn. Like, speed is the name of the game, right? And he does exactly that with a guy that's coming off the edge at 93 speed, 94 excel, coming off the edge. I love it. And then if he's the ability guy, is a wrap. They got fast on that edge. That's what's up. And he comes out on Superstar. That's a win right there for sure. So far, he ain't picked nothing I don't like right now. You go Alvin Harper. We know Alvin Harper was the speed demon. Now, here's the problem. Alvin Harper was the deep threat for Troy Aikman and the Cowboys during their Super Bowl years. But I don't know if Alvin, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he is. Alvin ain't a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. But Alvin Harper if you look up his 40 time, you would ask yourself, he's like Jerry Rice, right? Jerry Rice don't got a fast 40,
Chico, what team
but
you
they
got?
always walk by motherfuckers. And that's where Alvin Harper was. He was the deep threat for Troy Aikman. They walk by guys. And that's why he's not faster than that 96. Because he really runs. If you go check his 40 time, you will ask me why I got him that fast. But he do run by guys. So all right, so they got some speed, they got some good players to come in. I like it. They also picked up Eric Allen, the corner last year. Adrian Peterson is a hell of a running back to have in that system, especially his system. Kellen Winslow is going to be a monster at tight end. And they also got the White Freeney, Junior Seau, and Andre Johnson in the receiver room over there to go along with Bryant, that receiver that's always in the damn Pro Bowl, Bryant Bennett. So I like it. 6'5" Parham. I like it. They also got Taylor Terry, another 6'5" receiver. And then they got some dogs out here, too. They like the tall guys. They play big. So shout out to the Packers. They got weapons, boy. They got real good weapons over there. I like what he did, but because you didn't do it yourself, I'm going to give it a B. And the Dolphins. First of all, they get Seth Joyner. That's a win. Flat out win. All right. Then they go get Flozell Adams. And Hoodie has no problem picking linemen as well. And Flozell is a big mountain of a man himself, sitting at 6'7", 338 pounds. And Flozell already ready to go, 99 strength. That offensive line, because he attacked the offensive line a couple years in a
I
row.
drafted myself.
God damn. And then the steal of the draft was Tim Bianca-Pachuca. All right. Him and Tyrone Wheatley was fucking retarded in college. And a lot of these guys are going to be more
I
college.
wanted to playmaker myself.
Okay, my bad. I didn't know that. All right, well, you get a B+. Fucking Tim Bianca-Pachuca is a motherfucking monster at Michigan, bro. This is one of the best running backs to come out of Michigan. And he was in the same backfield as Tyrone Wheatley. Like, right when Tyrone was on his way out the door, then he took over. Listen, bro. Hoodie got to win here. 98 speed, 98 excel, and you see true 99 break tackle truck in a stiff arm. He's a fucking dog. And what we did, and by me not picking him at 14, what I did was I let a guy that show y'all what he could do with a fast running back out of the backfield and running the ball like he did with homeboy. I can't remember the guy's name. Let's see if he's still on his roster right now. The kid from Texas A&M. Let's see if he's still on his roster. Nope, he gone. So you got Maurice Jones-Drew over here, Tim Bianca-Pachuca, and Melo Burst that he picked up that was 99 speed flying, right? He came out the draft that fast. So, oh my God, that backfield fast. But what he did was he got himself a power back. Not only is he a power back, look at it. Change of direct 98, agility 98. This is a big boy, 6 foot 225. But he can catch the ball out the backfield as well. And this is going to be a fucking weapon for him. If you play Hoodie, you know his style of play. And you know he uses running back as a receiver and in the backfield. And if you can line up in the way he played defense, because he's one of the best run stopping defenses we have in our league. Like pure just designing shit to stop your run. Not the best defensive line. But if you paid attention to Hoodie, all his linebackers is up for awards every year. Now, with that being said, you bring Seth Joyner in because you are losing some linebackers next year. So I would have loved to see another linebacker in this year's class, but let me check and see, did he get one last year? No. All right, so you got Leroy Glover. He drafted a dog lineman last year. Maurice Jones-Drew, John Abram, Bobby Teller, it's fucking super win right there. Andre Rison, Bad Moon Rising, Seth Joyner, Flozell Adams, Sam Shields, and Tim Bianca-Pachuca. I definitely got to give him an A. I love what he did in this draft. I can't wait to see what he do with Tim Bianca-Pachuca. Oh, my God. My trade offer is still on the board. All right. Noah Shepard right here. I just talked about him, but I thought it was last year. I forgot that I didn't make every lineman a legend. I only made a couple of legend linemen because this year's draft is going to be full of legend linemen. This year is going to be full of legend linemen. So this is just a Game of Thrones lineman. who's still a dog. Like there's a lot of 21-year-old linemen that came out of this year's draft. Now this draft class in the legend draft class is going to be a lineman legend draft class, so it'll be a lot of 20-year-old guys coming out with real names. I love it what he did. Let's go to the Dragons right now. AJ Hawk, you go get AJ Hawk. We know what he did at Ohio State, solid linebacker. They also brought in Derek Alexander from Florida State. Love it. Victor Cruz, and all these guys are superstars. I know that for a fact. I'll still look just in case I miss an X Factor or something. Superstar, right? All right, so I think Rob needed interior D lineman. So the fact that he did get one and he had to go high and really get him was a big time win right there. His first overall pick was Xavier Rhodes, and you can't miss this because this was a steal. Xavier Rhodes had no business being on X Factor, but his shell came that way when I made him, so he stayed on X Factor. And this is a big time win because he got him late, right? This was later in the draft in the 20s, and this is a big time pickup. They also bring in Victor Cruz, solid receiver, to help out with what they got going on already in that receiver room with Emmett over there doing this thing. They bring Benny Blades in. He gonna knock somebody's fucking helmet off. Flat out knock somebody's helmet off. Let's see what that hit power looking like. 90 fucking, he got a 98 with the +3. All right, so he got better in the secondary as well. With two, oh my God. I love it. No, we don't want that. We want overall age. There we go. All right, Benny Blades. And now you take a look at Benny Blades, Victor Cruz, Xavier Rhodes, AJ Hawk, and Derek Alexander. Love all those picks. They're solid as hell. And you go along with the big three you got last year, and Vic, Falk, and not only, now you got two corners on the outside. Rondé Barber, and you brought in Xavier Rhodes, right? Barber is the cover two guy, so I know his zone is better than this man. But Antonio Gates and Amani Toomer also came out of that last class. And then they bring in rookie John Simpson as a my player. So solid. They also brought in big Brandon Williams last year as well. But this was a this year my player. You know, that's part of my packages. I do my player packages where I'll make you a player. It costs you, but I'll make you a player if you want a player maybe. There'll be a first round talent on Superstar 90, so whatever the first round players look like coming out. Like, so if they like 95, like most of them all 95, if the average is 95, they'll come out 95. All right, so Rob won, flat out won. I love everything he got right now. He got stronger at the linebacker level. That just made his linebackers at least 4 deep now because he had 2 of them that played really well for him. That's been like really in the top 10 awards race over the last couple of years. So you bring in AJ Hawk, who's a monster at middle linebacker. You bring in Derek Alexander to help you off the edge right now. You got stronger there. Because they already had some pieces at the defensive line, but they needed to get stronger on the D line. And he did exactly that. You got 2 bookend corners now out of the last 2 drafts with Xavier Rhodes and young Rondé Barber, right? And then Mike Vick, Marshall Faulk, and Antonio Gates are your triple threats with your receiver who's been a top receiver in the league over the last couple of years, and Emmett Brown. And we need Amani Toomer to step it up this year, right? And we can see Victor Cruz playing some slot for him, right? With Devon Ward getting old. So I like it. I love it what he did. I'm going to give you an A. I like what you did. All right, the Falcons class. Let's see what they got going on. All right, Ricky Williams is in his backfield. Rashaan Salam is in his back. Rest in peace, Rashaan Salam, X Factor, because he passed away. Rashaan Salam is a Heisman Trophy winner for Colorado. Rashaan Salam was a dog. Yep, so that's the win there. Now, Ricky Williams was the number 1 back in the draft, but he wasn't a guy that got a Hall of Fame jacket or a Super Bowl, anything to make him an X Factor. So he's a superstar. So they got 2 dogs at the running back position. Now remember, you know who the running back been over the last 9 seasons, and he's no longer in the building anymore, right? So you go get running backs that can come in and play for you right now, right? And that's Rashaan Salam and Ricky Williams. Now, Ricky Williams was at his best at Miami when he played with Ronnie Brown. Can we get the same look with Rashaan Salam and Ricky Williams together? Can we get that look? Because he got 2 of them to better do it. Let's see what happens. All right, we continue to look at this roster, and we're looking at Dez Bryant at receiver. Okay, you got Dez Bryant, X-Man Dez, Oklahoma State superstar. And then you bring in Antonio Cromartie. You know he got 25 kids, but you also know he was a pick artist. He got interceptions, so that's a big time pickup right there. I love it. This was his first round pick. And then you bring in Bruce Smith last year, Derek Thomas last year. Rest in peace, Derek Thomas. Mike Singletary. I don't know why Mike Singletary ain't on X Factor. What the fuck? Antoine Winfield, Brian Urlacher, all came in last year. This team looks like something right now, man. I like it. All right, 49ers, man. They bring in Lawrence Wright from Florida. They bring in Keith Brooken from Georgia Tech, like the linebacker. They lost some pieces and they recovered off of it. Mark Carrier is a solid safety. We know who he is for the Bears. How about Hot Rod Smith? He won 2 Super Bowls. Is Rod Smith in the Hall of Fame? Anybody know of Rod Smith in the Hall of Fame? Because if he is, he belong on X Factor. He do got 2 bowls. Although he not a Mount Rushmore, though. But then they bring in Big Teller Mays, 6'3", 236, which is his first overall pick, in his first round pick. And he teams them up with DeMarcus Ware, Albert Haynesworth, Terrell Owens, and Steve Young. And then you also got a lineman rookie, Jared Hancock.
Monster won 2 bowls and he only a star.
What he play for? Vikings? I ain't know he won bowls. That's why he a star though, because he ain't got no Hall of Fame jacket, but he won 2 bowls. He definitely a superstar. All right, back to these Niners, man. All right, so the Niners gotta get their act together right now, right? They not playing up to the coach's standard whatsoever. But if you take a look at his class, you're not mad at it at all. Um, I like the left tackle. So they got Terrell Buckley last. They got the Terrell Buckley last draft. They reloaded. They reloaded. Left tackle Jared Hancock. He's starting right now as well. Steve Young, the lefty. Terrell Owens, DeMarcus Ware. They got some guys now. Albert Haynesworth, big as hell. Teller Mays, a monster back there after they lost their safety. They lost 2 safeties back-to-back years. And then you take a look at the wide receiver room, and you take a look at what they're dealing with, right? So they got Ali Bolden. They got Pooh Hanna, rest in peace, cousin Pooh. Jerry Rice the third. Put the third on him because it's a Jerry Rice Jr. Terrell Owens, Jordan Ray, special teams guy, as well as a slot. Rod Smith comes in the building, and a kid that don't have nothing on him, whoever he is. So they got some good receivers over here they better choose from. I like it. I'm not mad at it. But they needed to keep that defensive line intact, right? So you're looking at Alden Smith Jr. should be 27 years old. Salam Brown at 23. And you look at right end, Amir Hurts, 24 at 6'7", and then Deion Cannon up there at age 27. You look at the D tackles, and this team hasn't stopped the run since they traded Moat to the Giants. They haven't been stopping the run like they would like to. But Big Brian Young Jr. is 26. You got Alex Holiday at 28. He on his way out the door. So you bring in white boy Brian Young, 6'5", 314. That's solid superstar and Haynesworth superstar, right? So this defensive line to get dominant in the inside, they need X factors here. So they're gonna have to figure that out. But I like the size, so they're getting better. I'm not mad at what they got. They just got work to do. I think if they want to be known as the best team in the NFC, they have to really get it together over there right now. And right now, they still in the mix. They still one of the best teams in the NFC, and they're still one of the best teams in the NFC West. But they got work to do over here. So he got a lot of plug pieces that might not play this year, but he got the right pieces on development that once they develop, they got something going on right now. I like the last 2 drafts. I'm gonna give them a B. New York, they go pick up Wayne Corbett. I should have X Factor Wayne Corbett because I know nobody was going to pick his ass. But they bring in Sean Alexander. We know what he can do at the running back. Navarro Bowman. Didn't Navarro Bowman get drafted by the Giants before he went to the 49ers, or am I skitzing? Listen, I'm about to do something here. because Bob Sanders is in the building. I got to do something here. All right. I like it. Wayne Corbett, J.J. Watt from last year. They got an offensive line. He butt his shit here. Nobody got Jerry Shockey. You definitely get a +3/+3. You probably didn't get it, but you drafted a guy that belonged on that team. Jared Allen, Geno Atkins. They also got Jimmy Smith at the cornerback position and Andre Reed. So they got some weapons. They got some things for Kevin Harvey to continue his growth. But I do like the picks here, right? I do like the picks. I like the fact we took a long shot on a Wayne Corbett. Lava, if you watch and hit me at the end of the show, I might have to come see you for this Wayne Corbett situation. I'm gonna give him a big Huskies in the building. So we're looking at Matt Elam, another Florida safety. You got Brandon Short, middle linebacker. David, no, that's not. This is not Falky. This is Los. Matt Elam, Brandon Short, and Boston. David Boston. Now David Boston was more famous.
My 49ers drafted Bowman in the third RD to go with Patrick Willis.
Mm-hmm. Drop dead, Fred. Drop dead, Fred. Let me tell y'all a story. David Boston. Remember the David Boston Charles Woodson matchup? Ohio State, Michigan. Oh my God, the year Michigan won a national championship against Washington State. But David Boston was a better player at college than he was in the NFL. Now he did play for the Cardinals. You all right? You all right? You good? Oh. David Boston was a better college player than he was in the NFL. But when he was in college, most physical receivers, T.O. was very physical as well. But T.O. had like different, right? I think T.O. super underrated. T.O. was a fucking problem. But David Boston was like T.O. was in the league in college. He was just bigger, way physical. Like he was the first one that had the wristbands on his arms and shit, like Peter Ward used to wear. But like his arms looked like they belonged on a motherfucker that was wrestling or a linebacker or a nigga that bodybuilder type motherfucker. He was big as shit. And he was physical as shit. Like you couldn't press him. He upstairs. You couldn't press him at all because he'd run through that press with no problem. Like he was just different, bro. And he was another player that I went after the draft. I was trying to get him, but I knew Los once I asked for him, I knew Los wasn't trading that motherfucker to me. I was just looking for a big receiver. I'm not gonna call him a graveyard or none of that shit because Los caught 7 passes with him in his loss against the Saints. By the way, Dan Marino opening day he threw 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. Just for y'all to know, and for the New Orleans Saints, like his debut, he went crazy right away too. But David Boston had 7 catches in that game for over. I think he had 200 yards. Might have had 200 yards. Or like 122 or 222. I just can't remember it. But he went crazy. But David Boston was a guy that was physical as fuck in college, right? They didn't really go crazy in the NFL. I don't even think he had a long career. But as y'all can see, my theme wasn't, the Hall of Fame, mainly Hall of Fame or, legends. They all NFL guys, but they really were legends in college for a lot of these guys, right, that I made this draft. David Boston, one of those guys. So shout out to Los. I'm not going to stay long on Los because he didn't draft, but he got Jimmy Graham. We know what Jimmy Graham's about. But then he goes and get Reggie Bush, and he needed Reggie Bush, right? Because he had Marcus Allen Jr. is 29. He got Mr. Jim Brown over here, but then Reggie over here now. Like, so you got a decision to make, right? You get the GOAT of the GOATs at your starting running back, or do Reggie come in? Because you got a situation where Lindell White and Reggie Bush are all over again. And Reggie Bush first game, he had 4 carries for 15.7 yards a carry. So they're going to better do some things with that special guy. Because he could do anything with Reggie. You could put him at punt return, kick return, receiver is Reggie Bush. So I like it. And then last year they got Aikman, Largent, Darryl Reeves, Jimmy Brown, Rodney Harris, and then Brian Harris, the center, right? So solid. I ain't mad. I'm just not gonna give you a grade because you didn't draft. Jaguars in the building. They got my boy Tay Cody from Florida State. He was a Florida State legend out there too, balling. But then they go get big Brandon Jacobs. Come on, man. Deal with it. All right, Bubba Franks at tight end, Green Bay Packers, dog. And then they bring in Devin Hester. And I know Hoodie was mad as hell when he picked him. Oh, my God. Now, Peyton Manning is still in the situation. Is he the starting quarterback yet over here, or is it still Jada Styles' show? I know he ain't starting Jada Styles over no goddamn Peyton Manning, or Peyton Manning sitting on X Factor right now, so I know it's the Peyton Manning show. So I like it. But as far as what he did in the draft, you got one of the, if not the best return man in the game, because he in the Hall of Fame. You got a physical ass running back to go along with. Who else? Tiki Barber. Yeah. Oh my God, he teamed them back up. It's big time. I ain't mad at you. I like it. That smell good as hell. What, you about to leave or something? Where you going? Oh, y'all gonna shop, right? Neil Smith, Ozzie Newsome. Yeah, they got some shit over there. Then they picked up Channing Wagner, the rookie. I like it. Ronnie Lott. They deep over here. All right, so the Jaguars just continue to better this roster right now, and I'm gonna give this guy a B plus. Nah, a B. I'm gonna give him a B. How about the Lions? They bring in Sean Lee from Penn State, Keanu Neal, DeMarco Ryans, and my boy Samari Rolle. And then they bring in Lights Out, right? Sean Merriman and Gronk. We already know what the Gronk doing there. I like this whole draft right now. That's an 8 in my opinion. Ken Norton, Michael Irvin, James Harrison, Tom Brady, Barry Sanders. They got what it takes to start winning some ball games over here. So you just gonna sit in my face and do that? Like, you ain't got no more treats in here, buddy. That's it. This is all it is. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. All right, so again, I like what the Lions are starting to do. They building that team. Let's look at these Oilers, man. All right, so Kellen Winslow, the second, comes in the building. Oh my God, really good speed. You got Mark Stepnoski, if you know him, Cowboys center. They bring in Jeremiah Trotter, Jesus Christ, speed burner, and Lavernius Coles. Kevin Smith, the other corner on the other side of Dion. Yes, sir. Charles Haley, one of the best the craziest defensive ends in the league. London Fletcher from last year, Tony Gonzalez from last year, Steve Atwater from last year, Derek Brooks, Jerome Brown. I like it. So that's 2 years in a row that they had a solid draft, right? So you took a look at Kellen Winslow. We love that. Superstar pick. Mark, go get your center. This is something nobody would have really did early. I don't know when he got him, but Jeremiah Trotter. Who was his first round pick? Am I missing something? Well, he picked up the back of the round, so it had to be. Oh, yeah, he picked him in the first round. All right, I'm not mad at you. Kevin Smith, definitely a superstar corner for winning bowls. Lavernius Coles, Trotter. I don't know if I made Lavernius a superstar, though. Because he's from Florida State, 9 out of 10 I did. Yep, I did. All right. I like it, man. I mean, this is another football team that's young, though, too. So I'm going to grade him with an A because of the youth that he already have on his roster, and they better grab these pieces they fill in. So look, if I go through his roster and take a look at what he got, he had he got the league rushing record, Curtis Martin Jr. here. And at the end of the day, Israel Buchanan came in the league at 20 years old in real life. Like, I didn't make him 20, like I make the Legends 20 or my real draft players 20. He actually came in the league 20. So, like, the fact that he got one more season with him is cool, but he's been out that backfield. Now, I would have loved to see him go get another running back, and don't think he won't go get one before the season's over with. I didn't know him. He probably won't make a trade to get one. Depends on if it's something out there, he would. But not out saying probably wait till next year's draft. But I would like to see him get another running back in this backfield. Even though Curtis went crazy last year, right? Then you look at what he got at receiver. Didn't really need to go there because you still got Santana Moss that's on the come up, and you bring in Lavernius Cole, and they give you enough weapons, 1, 2, 3, 4 deep, right? And then Eric Barrett, just a roster filler for right now. So you like the roster there. Then at the tight end position, you're looking at James McDowell, 28. He must have snatched him somewhere from somebody free agency or something. You got Trey Novacek, and then you got Tony Gonzalez and Kellen Winslow from the last 2 draft classes, right? So your tight end room is solidified going forward, flat out solidified. You need 3, and he got 2 young ones and another young one right here. So they solid there, good speed too. Yeah, I like what they did. I'm not gonna go through his whole roster. I just wanted y'all to see that he ain't that old over there, so he can get away with some of the stuff he got right now. So shout out to him. I think he got at least an A. Yeah, A. And the Orbits. Now I told y'all he went crazy. You got Cam Hayward, Sean Phillips, Larry Johnson brought him in the backfield, but they really went crazy on the line. Roy Williams, Jack Tatum, the X Factor safety, you know who he is. Larry Allen. All right. Then last year they had Tim Brown. Cornelius Bennett. Just the 2 linemen alone, I like this pick. Right, you get the X Factor at safety, then you go get Roy Williams, a superstar at safety as well. Mark Tuinei, you got Larry Johnson, solid running back. More than this, let me give him a just due. Larry Johnson was a dog. Sean Phillips, solid outside linebacker, good speed, and then you got a great D tackle, 6'5", 280, undersized. Really not the strength you want at defensive tackle, but I'm not mad at the pick. So I'm gonna give him a. The lineman want me to give him an A, so I'm gonna say A minus. All right, I'm stopping the show right here because I gotta get my gameplay, and it look like it's getting a little late. 2:17. Yeah, I want to get my gameplay soon. With that being said, I'll be back on. We'll go through the rest of these teams. I could finish it because there ain't really that much left. But I want to talk more later on. I don't feel like talking no more. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Remember, DM me so I know what the fuck I'm giving out. I know who get it. I just don't know what I was giving out. With that being said, I'm Anthits, the franchise guru. Legends draft number 2. We're gone.